This morning we have a very special award that I'm going to give out. This is called the Coaches 2010 Most Improved Tennis Player of the Season. It's going to go to Reverend Dr. Cecilie Strømmen. And this is a woman, I'm going to talk a little bit about her for a moment. This is a woman that 3 months ago, she was given a clean bill of health after very, very tough weeks and weeks of radiation for breast cancer. Then she took that moment to make a commitment to her nutrition and to her exercise and to her health. She didn't know what a serve was. She really didn't know what a forehand was. But we started up 3 days a week, faithfully, never missed a game. Even in the rain, sometimes we'd be out there. We did core work, we did interval training. We hit tennis balls, and we hit tennis balls, and we hit more tennis balls. And Cecile has developed into a tennis player. Now, she might not be ready for the Washington Castles mark, but with her new tennis wardrobe and her great equipment and her remarkable, infectious, robust zest for living, she's earned this award. So Reverend Doctor, please come up, and I would like the ambassador and Ed and I to give you this award and to have a picture, okay? Let's give this lady a Good, great. Thank you. You can add that to your trophy room.
I think it's my first in fact.
It is. The first of many. The first of many. And now we have Ed Henry, another tennis player. I think we're going to have a doubles match with Michael and Ed and Cecile and I coming up one of these days, okay? Now, Ed is covers the White House for CNN, and he's been a great and loyal friend of the Institute for Education for a very long time. He's so generous with his time with our journalism interns, some of which are sitting over there. Ed spends time with them. They've done a Q&A, and he's been great at coaching them. The great thing about Ed is the more famous he becomes, the more grounded he stays. And in Washington, D.C., that's a sustainable way to be a great success. So my friend, Ed Henry, to introduce the ambassador.
Thank you, Kathy. It's really, you've always been great to my family. I see your family here as well, so it's great to see you here. And to call me a tennis player, especially in front of Mark Ian, is inaccurate, so I wish we could correct it. I want to congratulate the doctor on her award, and I would be remiss without mentioning my colleague Jill Darty from CNN, who's here, who's a breast cancer survivor, and this past weekend, I believe it was just past weekend, led a team on the Race for the Cure that included not only her from CNN, but Jennifer Griffin, a breast cancer survivor from Fox. So if she can bring CNN and Fox together, I think she and the ambassador really want to get together in terms of diplomacy. Because Let me briefly explain why I'm here. In the last week, I've sort of gotten a crash course in diplomacy myself. I'm a member of the board of the White House Correspondent Association, and we've been dealing with a situation involving a veteran correspondent named Helen Thomas, who, I'm not sure if you read Ambassador, but she made some comments about Israel. Needless to say, we were kind of thrown in the middle of it. Some people wanted us to speak out. Others said that it was not really our place. We should stay out of it. We tried to chart what we thought was a fair course, where we basically said, we're not into being speech police for our colleagues in the media, but the comments crossed the line, and we had to speak out on them, so we did. She retired, and we are now dealing with another diplomatic fracas, which is who's going to fill a front row seat in the White House briefing room. There are various applicants, including Fox and Bloomberg, and so we're going to be dealing with that in the days ahead. And I was struggling with, how do I deal with now being in this position where you can pretty much, anger almost everybody and please almost no one. When Kathy called and said, would you please introduce the ambassador from Israel, who has to deal with all these difficult issues on a daily basis. And he is somebody who I've just met this morning, but New York born, Princeton educated, written many bestsellers, including one on the 6 6 Days War that won the LA Times Prize on History back in 2003. But he also, a couple of years ago, during the Israeli offensive in Gaza, actually volunteered and was there, was briefing the media. And in recent days, he's been on CNN more than I have, actually, practically. Every time I look up, he's on our air. And in the last couple of days, he's had one of his most difficult assignments. It really involved, I think, some of his most important diplomatic skills. And he lived to tell he was on the Colbert Report. And he did a fine job. And I think we're lucky that he is now making the time in the middle of a very difficult situation back home. A lot of diplomacy going on here to make his time to be here. And if he survived the Colbert Report, we'll see if he can survive the info breakfast.
It's no joke. I mean, I am the veteran of about 4 wars, and I don't think that any of them were nearly as terrifying as what's going on that Colbert Report today. And I've seen what he's done to some of my predecessors going up on there. It is delightful to be here this morning with Info Breakfast. Thank you, Kathy, for the backhanded compliment. I don't know about the search for Middle East peace, but my backhand's hopeless. Seriously hopeless. I go around the table, and there's so many people. Mark, thank you for being here. Jill, your friends. When Ellen Thomas said that the Jews of Israel should go back to Germany and Poland, I said, thank God they didn't say New Jersey. New Jersey, but I looked at the guest list today and I saw there was an Elon Blutinger on the list. And Elon, I haven't seen in, 30 some odd years. We graduated high school together. And I said, how many Elon Blutingers are in the world? And like, hey, Kat, is he a really good looking guy? There he is. Everyone, thank you all. And to, first of all, Marcy, to see you up and around. And to my colleague and friend, Major General Uriel Bar-Lev. You don't know who these are. Our police counsel here in Washington, the closest thing we have at the embassy to an IDF action figure. Dear friend. Well, believe it or not, this is sort of an auspicious event for me. This is my anniversary. It was a year ago, this week, that I took up this position. And little did I know, a year ago, this week, my Prime Minister called me in and said, you know, congratulations and condolences. You're Israel's ambassador to the United Nations. You know, boy, you're going to have a hard job. Little did I know that that hard job would include the events of about a week and a half ago, 2 o'clock in the morning, on the morning of Memorial Day, getting a call and saying that there had been an intercept of the Turkish flotilla and that there were casualties and fatalities, and get ready for yet another crisis that we're going to have to deal with the Israeli embassy. It is, I don't want to go too deeply into this because we can spend the entire time. I don't have a tremendous amount of time to talk this morning. I want to cover a number of subjects. We've been through it, as Ed said, I've been on television dozens of times in the last week. And I want to talk about some other issues facing Israel today.